on this. I did it. Awesome. Hey, welcome. We are here to talk about the Costa Rica retreat, April 2025. Um, we'll go over a few of the details, some of the information, some of the things that we've been learning about our hosts and little nuggets of things that we haven't necessarily put on the website yet, and then we'll take some questions. And first of all, a lot of you know us, but a lot of you don't. So we'll just introduce ourselves. Andy.
Oh, I get to go first. I'm Andy. I am the studio fairy at Blossom because I'm adverse to the M word, which is manager. So we created a new title for me, which is fairy. And I have been doing lots of logistical management for Johnny through the studio, also through the wellness center, through a lot of promotion that we do for that business. And then I also attended our retreat in Panama last year. So this year we thought we'd blend my logistics background with my oh yeah background. Let's go on retreat. And so I'm the logistics main point person for the retreat, which is very exciting. And yeah, in my non-blossom life, I am a mom and I am a midwife who is not directly practicing right now, but has for, don't ask me how many years, a long time. Don't have that number at the top of my head. And I live in Montpelier. And my journey with Blossom and yoga in Montpelier actually started when I was pregnant with my second child, who is almost 10. So I've been going to that studio for 10 years on and off, of course, because I have children. But it's really fun to be in this role now with it as well. So that's a little about me. I have a really loud laugh. You'll hear it probably during this call. And definitely if you come on retreat. So I hope I don't startle you too much, but it's very loud.
You're the retreat fairy. It's
I'm
your
now the
new title.
retreat fairy.
Like literally, she will make the whole experience so much easier. But you were already doing it naturally last year as a participant. So yeah, it's super exciting to bring Andy on team this year so that I can focus on more energetically holding the group, which is really it's really my passion. I do a lot of things, including running Blossom, teaching clients and all that, bodywork clients. And my one of my biggest joy is groups. It really is. And having a whole week together is incredible. So this will be my third year of a sunny destination week long, along with other types of retreats, shorter retreats. Um, and well, I guess I'm supposed to tell you about me. I'm like, oh, I don't want to talk about myself. Um, my name is Joanie. I grew up in Montreal. I live in Montpelier. I've been teaching yoga for 15 years, actually, somehow. And I have a lot of background in Ayurveda, which is a sister science of yoga that's out of India. And I like to focus a lot in my teaching and my work with my clients with a lot with the heart. And we're going to talk about the theme a little bit for the retreat today. The heart as a deep gateway into being and into ourselves and into all that is into consciousness and the universe. So that's a little bit about who I am and what I do. And yeah, retreats are incredible. Like it's such a gift to have the same group for that amount of time. We do a couple sessions a day. We take a lot of time off, a lot of spaciousness. So to be able to build on something, to have those deeper meditation times as a group, because it really brings the power of the practice forward. So there'll be some yoga, there'll be a lot of playfulness. We're both very playful and joyful. So the container is that it's a vacation, but also really introducing practices that are deeply transformative. I mean, if we were to just do yoga asana, just movement, it would be incredibly deep, right? We're going to bring it a little bit deeper. And if you're not a meditator, if you've never meditated before, don't worry, we'll walk you through all the steps. We don't want it to be intimidating. We'll work with heart-based meditation, which is very accessible, very easy to practice. Andy's been practicing it for a few years also. It's been really life-changing for me to go into that practice. It's very simple and you can, even if you have a very busy mind, which is like a misconception of meditation, that you can't meditate if your thoughts are going, like this is actually a really potent practice that everyone can do. So on top of that, like a lot of guided things, they're not really meditation, like contemplations, things to help us heal and remove some of the blocks that are in the way. And I wanted this retreat to be about self-love. Um, we not right now, we can mention that the world is very chaotic, right? And it's so freaking important. It's always important, but to be in ourselves, to be in our power. And for me, the work through the heart, the work with universal love is so potent. And it's a vibrational thing too that happens effortlessly and almost subconsciously when we start to work in these deep places and then starts to affect everything and everyone around us. So it's not selfish to do yoga and meditation. It's important. It's essential work in this world. Okay, now I'm like really spinning. I wanted to give you a little like so you can get a sense of like how I teach and who I am. And I like to go deep and I like to keep it light. So somehow it works and it's incredible in like that group setting. And really seeing the groups over the year like create really deep bond. I mean, you're spending, and you can take a lot of time alone too. That's the great thing about these retreat centers is you can actually, a lot of people, they're like, my intention is to read a book in a hammock the whole week, and they do that. And it's incredible, right? Like there's such a wide variety of experiences, and then there's these points where we come together, and then we can learn and deepen and play. We do a lot of like partner yoga kind of stuff. Like we support each other. We like to keep it light and all levels and all that. So yeah. Do you feel like that kind of covers the
Totally.
theme?
Yes.
Yeah, no, we'll take questions if you want to know, or I can talk about this all day, obviously. So if you ever want to learn more about what we're gonna do more specifically, we can talk about it another time too. You were gonna talk about where we're going.
Yeah, so when Johnny and I were looking at places this year, it was drawing upon our knowledge of, where we were last year in Panama and the amazing experiences we had and the little things we noticed. And then it was drawing on Johnny's previous experience as well in Costa Rica the year prior to that. So when we found Peace Retreat, there were several things that made us very excited about them. One, the hosts are pretty amazing. They've been hosting retreats there for 15 years. So this is not their first rodeo at all. But at the same time, it didn't look like an old retreat center. It is
No.
gorgeous and set in the jungle, but with very close proximity to a very renowned surfing beach that also is sandy at Playa Negra. It's actually a black sand beach. It's gorgeous with the photos that they were sharing with us. So Kevin is Canadian, and he is the one who runs the retreat center, working with the local communities and different people there. And then Maggie is sort of his right hand and does logistics, and she's pretty amazing. She's like French, but also like Australian at the same time. I don't know. She's a really fun one. And yeah, so the things that attracted us, one, it's in a beautiful place and it is jungle and beach at the same time, which is nice. It is a little bit of a nice walk meander on a dirt road through one of the local towns that they say is quite small, but you pass by some pretty amazing restaurants should you choose to go eat there. We can talk about that a little bit down the line. And you feel like you're in Costa Rica when you're going from retreat center to the beach, which is nice because last time we were pretty isolated and we
Mhm.
had to like drive to go feel like we were in the country. So I feel like that's going to be a really nice blend this time. And we also picked it because the pricing is pretty accessible. And we really believe in making these things as accessible to most as we can, knowing that it still involves a flight and travel and taking time off work and all that sort of stuff. But we wanted to keep the costs low. And we also wanted the travel times to be reasonable. So we'll talk a little bit about the flights that we're kind of looking at that we found. But from Boston and Montreal, you can get to Liberia is the name of it, direct. So that also felt important because, travel time is more time away, and we want you to really spend most of it in retreat. Um, so yeah, if I'm going to paint the scene, you're imagining being in the jungle, you're imagining being at this beautiful retreat center with multiple different types of accommodations, with gorgeous local fresh, as organic as possible food. They really believe that food is a part of the medicine. And with access to pool and beach and through towns and with local restaurants and lots of fresh fruit juices. That's what I'm excited about.
I'm excited about the pool.
You're the pool. I'm food. She's pool. We
Choosing
learned
the
that
pool.
very early on. So, those are some of the reasons why we picked them, and they've been really wonderful to work with so far, which is great. So then some helpful to know things. A lot of this stuff is on our website, but we could pepper in some little extra details. So Johnny's going to go over like what is included and what is not included in the retreat. So,
Well, the obvious, the retreat is included. Your stay, 3 meals a day. It is a vegetarian kitchen. They draw actually a lot of on the Ayurvedic principles, so seasonal, local, balanced meals for where we're at, the climate and all that. I was actually a bit of a theme last year where like eating like a highly acidic like tomato shakshuka. We were like, why are we eating this in the heat right
it
now?
was
Right? Like
heavy.
I think where we're going this year, they really have that understanding. No shakshuka. That makes me feel really excited with, like trying to have like a deeper Alma, the
I'm going to let my dog
doggy.
out who's whining. Excuse me.
Yeah, to facilitate our process and have that support from the kitchen. And they can accommodate needs and all that, of course. We mentioned local restaurants just because I'm on the food theme right now. Somehow it's still a tiny town, but because the surfing, I guess, is amazing there's a few world-renowned chefs that opened restaurants like there. I actually have a friend that somehow was there last week, and she texted me from and she's like, "Oh my God, I went to this place called Mycelium, blah blah blah." So we will decide also as a group, like as a group comes together, we'll do more talking and we'll do a session, group session. Maybe we decide on a day that there's an optional lunch at the retreat center. If you want to go try to restaurants, I mean, any day you can go, right? It's like not a big deal, but we'll have definitely a lot of the meals together as a group. But there's just knowing that that's right there is kind of a cool option. So you can kind of check out the area and see if you're a foodie. That might be a cool thing to do. So yeah, your sleep, it's funny, they always list that like linen is included. I'm like, I hope so. Who brings their sheets? So like we'll send you a packing list. So like the basics, everything is covered. Like it's a stay. They're taking really good care of us. What's not included is like alcoholic beverages, or if you want like an extra smoothie in the afternoon, like they do serve fruit juices with breakfast and all that, but there's like a lot of other things you can do on top of that, and it's that'll be on you. Gratuities are not included too. So that's something to keep in mind. We did include tax. Costa Rica has a 13% tax. So we didn't want to be like, hey, your retreat's only this much, but you had to like add 13% to that. So the price that you're paying for everything that it's provided, the tax is included so that we can pay that directly for you. Um, the shuttle is included. Do you want to talk about the shuttle real quick?
Yeah, sure. So, we as a group have an opportunity to have a shuttle ride from the airport to the retreat center. I believe it's give or take with traffic about 75 minutes.
Mhm.
And we are going to try our best to see and also counsel you on best times to arrive when people are arriving so we can have two different shuttles going at two different times to accommodate the most people. Maggie is very expert in figuring all this out with her spreadsheet, and they've got a fantastic driver that has been working with them for a while. And so we will organize that. And so to the retreat center and then from back to the airport. One thing that she did mention that's worth just saying right off the bat is if you are like, yes, this is awesome, and I'm going to book it and I want to book my flights. She wants you to know that when you leave, the from leaving the
Mhm.
retreat center to when your flight takes off should be a minimum of 4 hours. She wants to make sure nobody's stressed and going back into the world and being like, oh, I can't do my flight after like this lovely week. And so 4 hours for that. And we'll mention that multiple times as we go forward. But if you're thinking about booking flights soon, that is a good thing to have in your awareness. So yeah.
And we made it start on a Sunday, so you could travel that Saturday. You know, it
Hmm.
all depends on the timing and how you want to travel and all that. And also it ends on the Saturday. So you could even, if you want to arrive at the retreat center a day early, stay a day late, and then do your own shuttle, they can help organize that. There'll be a cost associated with that.
Hmm.
Because it's not the group one that they include. But that's a great way to do it also. If you're like actually arriving kind of early on the day before and you want to meet us there, that's fantastic. Again, that wouldn't be included. The retreat, the nights that were booked for are what's included in the cost. Um,
And I will say in terms of the front end shuttle, ideally the last shuttle on day one would be around 1:30 because we want to have an afternoon to get settled in and all that sort of thing. So if you're curious, if you're not sure if you should book a flight, like that's totally something you can email me and I can help show pros and cons and like talk about that stuff with you. So definitely not a problem there, to kind of help make sure everybody's feeling confident in what they're booking. Um, can I do this?
Yeah,
Yes, I
we
can do
can
that.
jump ship a little bit. I wanted to make sure I cover all the,
Included.
yeah, I mean,
Oh, should
oh,
talk about that. Yeah.
sweat lodge and the cacao ceremony. So when we met with this retreat center, they mentioned that, and we're like, okay, is this going to be like fluffy fluff, show off kind of stuff? It sounds amazing. We signed you up for it. You don't have to. They'll explain everything when we get there and all that. But the Sweat Lodge, both of them are led by a local um, native person that they've been working with for a few years.
6
Roberto
years.
French. I'm
I don't
blanking
remember
on
his
his
name.
name. But they described it in length to us, and we were like, oh my goodness, yes, that feels in tune with what we're wanting to do. It feels like a nice way to go deeper. It's two different things, probably in the same day. We're still working on like kind of the shaping the whole week. But it's like a pretty in-depth experience. And you can read about it on their website. They have some more information as well. So I'm not going to go super detailed right now, but they're both traditional ceremonies from the people of that land. And so that's another theme that we learned from last year that we wanted to
Hmm.
like go deeper with the cultural aspects of where we are. And the work that we're doing there. So we got really, really excited about that. And cacao is one of the things that I know about it is that it's all about opening the heart. I'm like, yes, that is so perfect. So we won't be like, day one, we're going into a sweat lodge. Like we'll kind of build up to it. And yeah, they'll walk us through it also. So you know what you're getting into. You can make a decision. But we wanted to offer it as a group thing so that that's something we can experience together for whoever is interested. But we're very excited about it. And it goes beyond and in that way you're not, stuck with me every day. You got other people to learn from and to be with also. Um, Sweet. They have yoga mats, yoga props there. If you want to bring a yoga mat, they make really awesome thin mats. That's what I've done in the past. Like we actually have some at the studio if you want to check them out. They're incredibly thin, so they're great to like they have mats there. You just put it right on top and you got your grippy mat. Some people use towels, also a little more slippery, depends what you like. By the way, the weather they said usually that time of year is like mid 80s during the day, mid
Hmm.
80s, and then mid like 70s in the evening. I think it's gonna be really, really amazing. I've done a Costa Rica retreat in the 90s. This is gonna be amazing. So yes, we'll be sweaty, but not like drenched sweat onto your yoga mat. Um, so yeah, if you have questions about the gear and all that, we're welcome. We can help guide you, but also to pretty much take care of everything. And quick note, if you bring a yoga mat and you don't want to take it home, they have a program.
Yeah,
It's
it's
kind of
really
cool.
sweet. So they struggle to get good quality mats. They have a list of mats they accept. So let's say you're not really wanting to lug a yoga mat both ways, or you want to leave the one you arrive with there. They, as a thank you to help getting good mats into their retreat center, give you a little tank top a little peace retreat tank top in exchange for your mat, which I thought was really cute because they say, with the humidity and all this, mats degrade faster down there. And so they're trying to figure out ways where they can get the brands they like, but that are not really accessible for purchasing easily there.
Mhm.
So I thought that was a really cute little program that they had. So more on that as we get closer or if you
Mhm.
sign up. Um,
And I think it's clear that we're trying to cover what's included and what's not included. It's not included your flights, right? You have to book your own flights. Just want to like really lay it really clear. You have to book your own flights and pay for them separately. So the cost of the retreat is for your time on site. And then other things that are not included that are very exciting is, and that's also why we leave a lot of the day open for relaxation so that you can take a lot of personal time, but also they actually offer spa services, bodywork, massage. It's on their website. We have on our website, when you go to the section, it's right by not included. There's a button that says excursions. You can click on that, and there's also a section that talks about the spa. And like as we get closer, once you're registered and all that, we can send you all the details, and you can plan ahead what you want to do while you're there. Um, Excursions, lots of cool stuff to choose from if you want to.
yeah, so it will be the dry season while they're there. So there are some excursions they have on their website that will say not recommended in dry season. Like there's a waterfall one where they're like, you're not
Careful.
gonna see a waterfall, so don't do that, which makes sense. Um, but there are options for excursions. There's like a full day excursion where you can go to this like center where you can, horseback ride from it and you can zip line and you can do all these things. And then there's hot springs there in the afternoon, which I'm sitting here thinking 85 degrees in hot springs, maybe nice, maybe I'll be hot. I don't know.
Sounds great.
And so there's just lots of options. And then that would be like a full day one, but then they also have smaller option excursions, things like surfing lessons. If you've always wanted to try surfing, there's a beautiful sandy beach that you can get connected with a surfing instructor. If a few of us want to go do that, that'd be like a half day, or horseback riding on its own could be one, or there's one that sounds like I will definitely want to do just because I'm me and I love nature stuff. But they have a little stand-up paddleboard tour on their mangroves with a nature guide where they point out all these different things in the jungle. And you'll learn very quickly. I'm a biology science geek. And I love that stuff so much. So, yes, lots of different opportunities with that, and that's on their website. And as we get closer, like Maggie was saying, if you know you want to do something and we know ahead of time, that's like best because then we can for sure book it. And is there room for spontaneity and getting there and being like, oh wait, I wanted to stand up paddleboard too? Like there'll probably be some opportunity for that, but since we are working with outside folks, if there's something you really want to do and it's going to make your week there, then let us know and we'll be calling out for that after
Mhm.
registration. And especially for the spa services,
Mhm.
the massage practitioners and body workers are not there on site. They're actually people in the community that they bring in. And so they say the sooner they know, the better. And I can counsel you on how to book those things with them if you know in advance. And of course, we'll let you know our schedule and everything. So you're not accidentally doing that when you want to be doing something else. Like we'll make it work.
Mhm.
Um, but those extra excursions, those extra spa services are not necessarily covered in your retreat fee. It's just the sweat lodge and the cacao ceremony. So just something to be aware of as you're planning for this. I think I covered excursions.
If you are on social media and you have Instagram, go follow them, Peace Retreat Costa
Mhm.
Rica. I'm excited about paddleboarding because they've been posting stories of what they've been doing this week, and everybody's just like so happy on their paddleboards. I'm like, I want to do that. But it's kind of fun to like see the place and see what they're up to.
We forgot one thing that is also included. So we are talking a lot about heart-based meditation, and we have found that if you become familiar with it in advance of the retreat, it can help it be a more deep experience for you. So within the next day or two, or I can send it to you, we have actually opportunities for you to learn heart-based meditation in the month of March. So, Joanie is going to be leading an in-person and also hybrid, if you want a remote in from home 3-session opportunity in March. And then Joanie's teacher,
Mhm.
Paul, is also leading it virtual on like a different day and a different few weeks in March. So we really wanted to try and make it accessible. And if none of those work for you, reach out to us and we will figure something out. But we found that that works the best, and that is at no additional cost, that meditation training. So that is also included, but it happens before we leave if you would like to do that.
Yeah, and maybe you have your own practice. We're not saying like you have to do this.
Mhm.
It's just if you don't or you're curious to learn it, and I'm happy to answer any questions around that too. I feel like I'm worried that it's intimidating. Um, but I really think it isn't. And one thing that people have noticed after a trip like this is we go home with a stronger practice. Like you've like kind of established a daily feeling that depth of being that then stays with you and comes into your daily life. So we want to make it possible and easy for you to experience that. So we're here to be of service. And I realize I didn't say a whole lot. I know a lot of you guys have done yoga with me. Didn't say much about my style of teaching because I know sometimes I'm not very like rigid in one lineage. What I'll say is that I try to make it as accessible as possible. We don't take ourselves very seriously, which is what I love about like we can find that level of focus and depth in the practice, but also irreverence and from a place of gratitude for the long heritage of all these practices, but also just take it lightly. Typically more of a flow sort of class with some holds, some really yummy stuff. Like certain days, like we might all show up and like our energy's really low, then we'll match that, right? Like we'll work with what's happening, and that's what I was also trying to say with loving working with groups is like the group consciousness sort of like takes over and I get to just be of service. Like I'm here to hold, I'm here to kind of initiate. We're here to support and to hold, and then magic happens, right? Like you introduce these deep practices, and so much comes of that. And then you might be like, I have an idea. What if we did that tomorrow? I'm like, great, bring your ideas. Let us know what you want to do. Even now, like if you already have some things that you're excited about or you want to work on or anything, I love that. I always start my classes here at the studio is like with special requests. Yeah, I love that. I love bringing you into it. But yeah, that's that. I think we have a couple more logistical things and then we'll open it up for questions in a sec. Money. Give us all your money. We gotta give them some money. So your deposits, reserve your spot. That's a $500 deposit. You can make your deposit bigger if you want to. Like that's really up to you, but we want a minimum of 500 to reserve your spot. You can pay in full right away. I mean, it's pretty soon too. And ideally we would get the full payment by March 1st. And that's just because we have to send them money basically. So, if you need a payment plan, if you need some flexibility, that's easy. We can definitely work with that. Because usually there's a good balance of people paying in full right away, others paying later, and we can kind of like even it out as far as our end of managing that. So we try to be as flexible as we can. I had one person last year like do installments even after the retreat, like as long as you know you come in and you're definitely gonna pay it, then we're good to go. Um, so yeah, so that would be the ideal schedule is March 1st. And again, if you have any questions or needs around that, we're here. And also March 1st is our deadline for cancellations and refunds and all that for the reason that that's when we send our final numbers to the retreat center. So we want to, and they've been pretty flexible with us also because it's a little bit more of a last minute
Yep.
organization. So they're organizing. So they've been super cool with that. Um, and so we love cash or check just because we hate giving money to the credit card companies, especially for amounts like this. I don't know. I just don't love them. But I did set up Wise. I just learned about it thanks to our retreat center.
Yeah.
This is the first time that I send money internationally that's not through very expensive bank transfers, and I got really excited. So I'm the point person for that. Between Andy and I, we can help you figure it out if cash or check doesn't work, if you're not local. And if you are not local, you're mailing a check, just get in touch with us. We'll give you all the details. But Wise is it's a pretty low fee. I think it was like between $5, $6 for a $2,000 transfer that I just sent to the retreat center. So And it was super easy to set up. I just connected my bank account to it. So it's this those millennials, those
I
Gen
know
Z,
they
they're
know all
figuring
of
it
it.
out, like we don't take Venmo. I'm just gonna say it out there because I know a lot of people ask about that, but Venmo is a little bit trickier for us. But yeah. And if you do have another way that you would prefer to pay, we can talk about it. There might just be a little bit more of a fee. So you get to decide if the fee is worth it. Oh, participants say their experience is that's their note. Like,
I just wanted to,
amazing.
as someone who jumped into this last year, like not blindly, because I was obviously working with Joanny,
You could do yoga with me too.
and I've been doing yoga with you, but
Meditation.
I'd never been on a yoga or meditation retreat despite working in like a center. But anyway, and so I just kind of wanted to say some of the things that like I experienced, but also talking with other participants who have done this before. You're in the way of my notes. Is that, some of the things people say after having experienced this is that it ended up being so much more fun than they thought, which like I didn't think that I knew it would be fun, but like a lot of people were like, "Oh, like I was like laughing a lot and there's lightness and it was just like really amazing in that way." And a lot of people did notice too, after going and doing this type of deep, immersive experience over a week, that they had a stronger commitment to their own movement practice or meditation practice, or even maybe had a movement and meditation practice after this if they didn't consider themselves having one before. And so that was like also something that really stuck for people. And then the other thing too is that like when you're on doing an experience like this with people, you really create some bonds. And a lot of people were amazed that after the fact, if they ran into somebody or if they shared an email or this or that, it was just like this very, very grand sense of familiarity, almost like the people they went were like family, and now they like know all these different people, and definitely many have stayed in touch, and that's just a neat thing to build community in this day and age. So I just wanted to share some of those things of what people have said in previous years and what has meant the most to them coming out of it. So,
Hmm. I have a new slogan. Healing and transformation through laughter and love and self-love.
ooh, there we go.
That's pretty much it.
I say yes.
Boom. We could have like not talked for 35 minutes and just said that.
Yes.
So let's open it up for questions. I know there was a lot of information. Hopefully a lot of it felt familiar.
So if you have a question, unmute
You
yourself.
would unmute and speak up. I'm going to leave us on the spotlight. I believe the recording will just keep us on the screen. We'll see. So you can go ahead if you have questions.
I'm kind of, oh, go ahead,
Why don't
Samara.
you go, Mary, and then we'll say Samara.
Mostly about the flights. I was kind of looking at flights. What do you, anyway, I'm just like, what do you know about flights out of like Boston or Montreal? And you were talking about direct flights, which I would love. I was looking at flights that were direct one way, but not the other way. Um, but maybe you have some good information about flights that are the best. Have you researched that?
Yeah, maybe Boston.
We looked at Boston and we looked at Montreal as some of the closer main hubs because everyone knows if you go in and out of Burlington, it's not going to be direct, right? It's just the
Right.
story. And we were finding some good options. And this was like several,
Yeah, I
maybe.
just looked it up again.
Yeah, you just looked it up again to double check that they were still there and available in and out of the Liberia airport, right? It's the Liberia airport. And so make sure that's the one that you're selecting. And they didn't seem to be at wacky hours. And I think, do you remember the duration time? We could pull up our notes. I think
I
they
think
weren't.
direct is five, under five
I
hours.
think it's under 5 hours for direct. Um, so, we did a basic search in that way just to make sure there were some direct options. But if it was important to you to go out of Burlington, then you would just have a layover somewhere. But we were finding direct both ways. So maybe what we can do is connect with you, Mary, and do a search and let you know some of the different airlines we're seeing that on, if that's helpful. If you're struggling to find that.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, if you could share that information. Yeah, because but I didn't. I guess I didn't search as well as I should have. I mean, I kind of just looked at kayak at, I guess those are more like bargain or something. So
Yeah.
maybe I wasn't doing that. But if I know what airline it might be the best to kind of go to, that would be really helpful.
Yeah,
Can
Samara, is it
I?
related? Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, it is related. So
Yeah.
I researched flights. By the way, I went to the Panama trip, so I'm used to working with these ladies. Um, I just Google because with Google you can Google flights.
Mhm.
They were 370 something dollars, which is really cheap, actually, round trip. I found flights. I have friends in Boston, so I can drive down, and there's a bus from, you can take the Dartmouth coach from Lebanon and go down. Um, I didn't really pay attention to the times because I was feeling like I didn't know what time I needed to arrive. So that's one of my questions for in a minute. But they seemed cheap. There was a day and a few days where direct flights from Boston popped up, same price. And I the flight for me personally, the flight provider, for lack of a better word, doesn't matter to me. I just want to get there and get back.
Mhm.
And so they were all about under $400 flights, either with a layover or direct from Boston. Um, I
Yeah.
think it was
Yeah.
Delta and
I'm thinking Boston as well. And I
yeah,
Right.
also thought if some of us from this area, and I don't know if you live around here, Samara,
I
but
do.
Yeah,
it
that
would be,
happened
well,
last
obviously,
year.
you're talking about Dartmouth coach, but it'd be great to coordinate. And if we
Yes.
Yeah.
could possibly have the same flight, that would be
Yes.
really
Mhm.
wonderful.
I did that last year, and I actually
Mhm.
drove from Montpelier in a car with three people I didn't know, and it was so fun because it was like we were starting the retreat early. And what I will also say, if a carpool like that doesn't happen, is if you haven't looked up the Dartmouth coach from Lebanon, it's a really good one to look up. And of course, no promises, no guarantees, but you can park there and you're not paying for parking. And in my experiences, it's been fine so far when I've gone away, but of course, I can't guarantee anything. And this is not during a school vacation, so their parking lot is not likely to be overwhelmed either. So that's a nice way to not drive into the city if you're adverse to that. And those go straight to the airport. So yeah, we can definitely help with some of those questions as you're looking to book and everything because we've done it before, we've tried these airports before, and that kind of thing. So we can give you some ideas.
And you
Is
want
it,
to, yeah.
I was going to say, is it possible to share? I don't know if everyone in this group feels comfortable, but to share contact information, like if we're trying to, like
Yeah, we
Samara,
can.
I'd like to like be
Yeah.
able to contact you if
I love that. I love that
we
you're already starting
flights.
retreats. I
I know,
love it.
I'm just like a planner, I guess.
So what we'll do is everybody that's registered will ask you specifically, like, do you want to be in touch with
Yeah.
people? And as long as we have your permission, then we'll share that information. You guys can get in touch. Yeah, I think last year like there was basically like one good flight to Panama City. So a lot of you guys ended up on it.
Yep.
But we might be nice to kind of highlight like, ooh, that flight looks really good. You guys can get in touch and decide who wants to be there around the same time. You want to be in Liberia, by midday on Sunday. Like we start on Sunday. We want to be at the retreat center around 3. That's why we said like 1:30 at the latest for the last shuttle. With that, I don't even know if there's flights that arrive midday, right? Because you would start your journey pretty early with that. Um, if there's any delays, that can be a little bit of an issue, right? If you miss the group shuttle, you'll have to pay for your own shuttle. That's like kind of the risk that we're running into if you're in a later flight. Someone like did an overnight and arrived and got on the shuttle in the morning last year. It was magical. It was incredible. And we won't say who it was.
That was me.
It works,
That
It
was
worked.
totally me.
It's amazing that that
I
worked.
didn't sleep at all, and it was amazing. And I was
So
dead
well
tired.
rested. It was great. And we didn't know it was a 5-hour shuttle too. That's
You could totally call me out for all the
But for
things.
and
for those of us who are planners and are not travel through the nighters, there are a couple good hotels near the Liberia airport if you want to arrive the day before, have a little more spaciousness, have some time to get, settled and all that sort of thing. So that's definitely an opportunity. They gave us those names. We'll send that out
yeah.
to registrants. And they didn't necessarily, the nearest town is called, it begins with an S.
Oh, I don't know. Because Liberia itself is actually 20 minutes north of the airport, and we were told by Kevin, the owner that's lived there a
Oh,
long
that's
time,
what
that
it was.
it wasn't a particularly like I was like, oh, we'll arrive a day early and go visit the city. And he was like, I mean, you can research it all that, and he was not necessarily recommending it. I mean, let's find out why. I like a good
Yeah,
cultural
that's a good.
experience, you know? Like I don't
I
see
think he
why.
just meant it didn't have a lot to
Yeah.
offer, and there
Yeah.
wasn't really much to do. And he found that the hotels near the airport were a little more satisfying, is what I recall
Mm.
him saying. But we can get more information on that. But if you do want to arrive like the evening before and be able to,
I'll just
eat,
relax.
sleep, relax, and then join the group, that's definitely a possibility, which is why we started it on a Sunday.
And we'll put you guys in touch because if half the group arrives the day before and wants to head to the retreat, we have two shuttles to organize. So one shuttle could be the day before, and you guys pay for that extra night at the retreat center instead of in the city.
Hmm.
That's possible too if we have enough people to do
It
that.
does look like flights from Saturday. I'm looking at my flights from Saturday are cheaper and you arrive in the middle of the afternoon.
Oh, that's
Mhm.
nice.
And
Or relax.
there's a JetBlue, yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, so that's definitely something we can share more and help you with coordination, and let you know what other group members are doing.
And if anyone's interested in flying out of Montreal, you can shoot me an email also. There's a hotel that I know has free parking that my friend goes to. I don't know if it's for a full week, but it should be pretty affordable. I fly out of Montreal because my family's there, so I know it's always on my radar, and it's nice to know that they have a direct flight if you like to go that way instead, or if you're like booking last minute and Boston doesn't look as good, you can compare it with Montreal.
Hmm.
There are buses that go to Montreal,
Yeah.
definitely from here to Central Station, and then or whatever, Gare Centrale, and then to the airport. So it's a little bit more involved, but definitely possible.
Yeah.
Does that feel like it kind of rounds? I know there's a lot more to look up, but does that feel like it answers your questions, Mary and Samara?
Um, yeah, good for now.
Right.
We'll
We'll
work on
talk
it.
more. We will talk.
Right, right.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's always the big part. And once you have your ticket, no more stress. We got you covered.
great.
Yeah.
I had a question about cash.
Yeah.
Do we need to exchange this time? We used credit cards last time.
Oh, for the retreat center?
Yeah,
Yep. Yep. So those are like a little bit more of the details. It's like once we have the group, we'll send a packing list. We'll do
okay.
it like this with the group and like go over all that so you can plan ahead. So we'll make sure that it's a few weeks ahead. And the answer is yes to both. It's
Okay.
gonna be a
Either.
credit card retreat center, like paying your bill at the end if you want to use card for that. And then cash is nice for like local stuff and
Yeah.
guides and
Yeah,
tours.
there's more local things, so
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And
there weren't so many local things last time.
No,
and
and they have,
correct me if I'm wrong, but you do not need to convert into colones.
I don't know.
I
They do
thought
both?
I thought he said that it accepts US dollars and colones, but I will triple check
The
for you all.
whole, the US dollars.
I know,
Just,
I know. So we'll make sure that that's in the logistics information packet, which will go out with all the packing lists and everything. But I'm pretty sure that's what he
okay.
said. But
Just
that was
freak.
several weeks ago, so I would
It's
want to.
weird when you travel abroad and they take your currency.
I know it's very
That's always
strange.
strange.
Yeah.
Other questions? I see people are
I know.
needing
I
to
think it
wrap up the
must be
evening.
time to go, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We can be in touch for other questions. But
Yeah, thank you for doing this.
yeah.
Mary, if you want my email, I'm happy to
Okay.
give
Well,
you.
we'll connect you. Like right after
Yeah.
this, we'll
Yeah.
connect both
Yeah,
of
we'll
you
turn
at
off the
least.
recording
Yeah.
and then you can share your email.
Oh
So
yeah, that's
don't have
right. We're being recorded. Okay.
yes.
Any other questions before we switch off the recording?
I think my questions were more like time zone. Does the time zone change?
1 hour.
One
Although
hour?
I think once we do the
1 hour.
change,
Yeah.
we might not. It's 1 hour now, but April is on the other side of daylight savings because I
Yeah.
have to check that. I don't know if they change the time there.
Okay.
So we
So it
either
might be
it'll be
an
1 hour or zero, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, Lydia's back.
Mm.
A little technical. All right. Last chance. Well, it's good to have the questions on the recording because people might be
Everyone
watching
Yeah.
this
can ask.
and they have the same questions, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, I'll stop the recording and we'll stay on if there's anything else. Thank you. Not end the meeting.
There.